This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Tuesday, January 6, 2026. I'm Alex Brown. Purdue University Northwest is gearing up to begin innovation and workforce development efforts at the planned Roberts Impact Lab, which is currently being developed at a former medical office building in downtown Hammond. Executive Director Niaz Latif says the lab will have a particular focus on quantum technology research.
I am not aware of any other university has that kind of opportunity. So it will provide a research opportunity for people who does the quantum research, a facility that do not exist anywhere.
A $10 million renovation of the facility is currently underway. Fort Wayne-based BT Pro Solutions, a technology consulting and product development firm, has acquired Washington-based Spokane Computer, which has developed business management software for truck equipment distributors, upfitters, and service providers. Financial terms of the deal are not being disclosed, but BT Pro says Spokane Computer's 11 employees will all be retained. Law firm Taft, Stettness & Hollister has closed its merger with Morris, Manning & Martin, expanding Taft's presence to Atlanta, deepening its reach in Washington, D.C., and adding more than 100 lawyers to its team. The firm now boasts more than 1,250 lawyers across the United States. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
The Indiana Department of Transportation told state lawmakers on Monday the number of nixed road and bridge projects is rising, citing funding constraints. Here's Gary Dick.
INDOT reported hitting the brakes on 300 projects this time last year. At that time, state officials said they were dealing with reduced revenue caused in part by more fuel-efficient vehicles. Motor fuel taxation yields $8 of every $10 in state funding for roads and bridges for both the Indiana Department of Transportation and local governments. But as Hoosiers upgrade to more fuel-efficient vehicles or try electric and hybrid options, there is less money to work with. And they said inflation means those dollars aren't stretching as far. INDOT Legislative Director Aaron Wainscott said he doesn't have a specific number of projects that have been canceled to date, but that the original number has continued to increase over the last year. INDOT has eyed tolling as a potential revenue generator. U.S. law generally bans user fees on federal aid highways, including those that make up the interstate highway system. There are exceptions to mainstream programs, which don't require any state-federal tolling deal, and two application-only limited slot pilot programs. Wainscott confirmed INDOT submitted a tolling application late last year to the Federal Highway Administration, specifically for Interstate 70, but didn't provide it to committee lawmakers or the Indiana Capitol Chronicle. Wainscott also said INDOT has received, quote, good feedback on the application, but noted the agency doesn't know how long approval might take. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Affordability concerns regarding energy prices appear to be a priority issue for Indiana lawmakers, with the elimination of the state sales tax on utility bills emerging as a possible solution. The proposal to nix the 7% sales tax for utility purchases has garnered support from staunch conservatives and Democratic lawmakers alike. The proposal would save consumers an average of $157 a year on electric bills alone, based on price data from July 2025, although Democrats say it could save some families up to $350 annually. But state house leaders have voiced reluctance to drop the tax, which could see the state lose out on anywhere from $450 million to $720 million in tax revenue if it's phased out. Evansville-based Wellborn Foundation has received approval from the Indiana Department of Insurance to launch a multi-employer welfare arrangement, or MIWA, designed specifically for Indiana nonprofits to address the rising cost of healthcare for their employees. The foundation says through the MIWA, organizations can pool their resources to access more affordable and sustainable healthcare options, reducing financial strain and improving competitiveness in the labor market. CEO Pat Creech.
Most nonprofit organizations either aren't large enough or have significant enough budgets to be able to provide high quality and affordable health care. We through this process are trying to answer the question, how can we help them? How can we help them accomplish that? And the MIWA is the vehicle that is going to do that for them.
The MIWA is launching with a group of 12 nonprofits, but Creech said they expect significant growth over the next 2 years. Tom Griswold of The Bob and Tom Show is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.